Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, update and discussion show. Today's video we'll get into the news and we'll get into my opinion, then we'll talk about the Reading game and more. Oh, cough. I still got a bit of a cough, so I apologise. But there's just over 48 hours remaining of the January transfer window, and can Manchester United do something crazy? And when I say crazy for Manchester United and get a signing done in 48 hours, because we know it takes us an average of 48 days to sign a player. But can we do anything in 48 hours? We're getting offers for players to leave. Ten Hag very reluctant to let any players leave because he knows he's probably not getting any in. But this Eriksen injury, this Donny injury, Man United obviously sent scouts to see Matt O'Reilly of Celtic. Could we get Gravenberch on loan? There's reports on Kessie on loan. Could be going for Tielemans on a cheap. Hedera of RB Leipzig. What can we be doing? Because Ten Hag wants a midfielder, and he's made that very, very clear. And, we need a midfielder. If Eriksen's injury is bad, we are fucked. Now, my thought process is I'm going to get to the injury crisis. And I've got a bone to pick with Andy Carroll because I swear he was trying to injure our players. I'm going to go into the injury crisis in a second, but my honest opinion, I don't know if you're following me on Twitter, and is that United need to sell a defender and use that money to fund a midfielder. Okay, that is my opinion. That's what I said on Twitter. That's what I said in the title of the video. We need to sell a defender and use that money to bring in a midfielder because Luke Shaw can play centre back. If worse comes to worse, we've had offers from Maguire and Lindelof. If we seriously, as brokers, we're making out, surely could we do something, sacrifice Maguire or Lindelof and use those funds to bring in a midfielder in the remaining 48 hours? Yes, if we're run like a competent club like Manchester City or Brighton or someone with brains. Probably not because we're Manchester United, and it would be crazy if United did it. But I just think we don't have the best depth in general. But the one area, and even Ten Hag said this, the one area that we've been able to rotate in is defence. To Wan-Bissaka and Delo, who a year ago we thought were both crap, have looked solid right backs for United. Malasa and Luke Shaw, brilliant left backs. We've got Martinez and Varane, who are our first choice centre backs. And then Lindelof and Maguire can do a good job. And even Luke Shaw can do a job there if worse came to worse. So if you sold one of Maguire or Lindelof and you just, Luke Shaw was kind of that replacement in a sense, you technically have 4 centre backs, which is all you kind of need. We have 4 midfielders to cover 3 positions if Eriksen gets injured, and that 4th spare midfielder is Scott McTominay, who we know is not good enough. Donny's out. If Eriksen gets a serious injury, it's Casemiro, Fred, Bruno every week, but one of them will get injured if they play every week. One of them will need a rest at least, and then McTominay. You're substituting either Bruno for McTominay, which is not going to work, Fred for McTominay, which is probably the best substitution, but Fred's been very good, or Casemiro for McTominay, which is just the biggest downgrade in world football. So I'm thinking now, if we're getting offered 20-30 million for Lindelof and Maguire, we should sell one of them, 48 hours to go, and invest it in a midfielder if we're that broke. Now, I think we have the funds for a midfielder. I think they're looking to sell the club. They don't want to. And I think, I'm going to get into the news in a second. But I think, Arsenal putting in 60 million bids for Moises Caicedo. Chelsea have spent nearly 200 million already. Nearly 200 million already this window. Arsenal spent like 50 million and putting 60 million bids in. Spurs have signed 2 nearly 3 players. 2 nearly 3 players Spurs have signed. Just to throw that out there. And they're in a top 4 race with us. Liverpool have brought Gakpo. Liverpool have spent 40 million. Spurs have spent 50 million. And Chelsea have spent nearly 200 million. They're in a top 4 race with us. Newcastle are investing. I think they're trying to get James Maddison as well in Newcastle. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but they've got Anthony Gordon. All the teams around us are investing. If we, and I say this now, do not get top 4, do not be turning on Ten Hag, be turning on the ball, because we're in a good position for top 4. But every single person in the race for top 4 of us, because Man City will guarantee get top 4, every single person top 4 race around us has literally spent 50 million or more in January, signed 2 or 3 players. We got a Besiktas Burnley player on loan. Now, I like Wout Weghorst, no disrespect to Wout Weghorst, but my God, we need more than that. We're playing a game every 3 days. Ten Hag can't even rotate versus Reading. He's got little faith in the bench players. Can't even rotate versus Reading. Can't even rest these players. We're going to drop off because of the lack of rest. We're going to get injuries. We need some serious investment. So in today's video, I want to talk about that serious investment Manchester United need. But Gaz is just remind me how shit Liverpool are. Before I go into a rant, before I get into midfielders we could sign, before I get into news, can we just sit and relax and go, Liverpool are shit? And I fucking love it. Honestly, I love how... how crap Liverpool are. They've just got knocked out the FA Cup to Brighton, But at the same time, I'm like, well, Liverpool are probably going to get knocked out by Real Madrid in the round of 16. They're out of the other cup competitions. They're in competition with us for top 4. They've got nothing else to focus on. Although I love this Liverpool downfall, the lack against the Liverpool might help them get top 4 over us, which I don't like as well. Alex B says, board need to get off their asses with Eriksen and Donny van der Beek's injury and Scott's form. We are tragically thin, and you're absolutely spot on as well. And if we don't get, not being funny, but I think it's no top 4. I do think top 4 is a risk with the lack of investment if we don't get anyone. I absolutely think that as well. We have two Nzabi if worse comes to worse as well. The Glazers are pathetic, very much. I mean, smash the like button if you hate the Glazers as well. And the Glazers want the transfer window to close fast. I mean, we need a midfielder and a striker, but right now with the injuries, and I'm hoping Eriksen's isn't serious, but we really need a midfielder as well. Alice, would you sign Son from Spurs and try and play him as a false 9? Probably not. He's out of form. And it gives me Sanchez kind of vibes. And our rivals are strengthening. Even City signed a young midfielder from Argentina for 10 million quid at least. Ten Hag needs another body in midfield. Yeah. And even if it's a cheap player like Moises Caicedo 2 Januaries ago when we were crying out for a DM, Man United could have signed for 4 or 5 million. We could have got Moises Caicedo 4 or 5 million pounds 2 Januaries ago, you know, when we needed a DM, and that would have been a young player to strengthen the midfield and blend through. Even if it's not a finished product, even if it's not a finished article, and I almost think we do kind of need someone to come in now, but even if it's not the perfect midfielder, even if it's not, you know, 100 million Enzo Fernandez, your Frankie de Jongs, because that's not possible. Even if it's your Matt O'Reillys or your Gravenberches that are young, that can do a job, someone young up and coming. I just think anyone, whether it's a loan, whether it's a permanent cheap deal, it's either going to be a loan or a permanent cheap deal. I just think anyone that can surely improve us. Maybe we go for Tielemans on the cheap if Leicester sell him. Maybe we beg buying for Gravenberch on loan, who would be my first choice. Maybe go to Barcelona and go, we'll help you with your wage bill. We'll take Kessie on loan. You know, there's lots that we can do with scouting Matt O'Reilly of Celtic. Very good young player. Was at MK Dons as well. Very good. Kind of gives me ball carrying midfield vibes. I feel like he'd be a good Ten Hag signing. There's some very good players out there. And I'm not saying we have to go out and sign Enzo Fernandez or Frankie de Jong because that's not realistic. But there are some realistic young cheap options out there that United should be doing. You know, we see Brighton going to South America and getting these young cheap players and doing fantastic. You know, why don't at least we do one of those? You know, maybe that would help. Because look at Enzo Fernandez and gone to Benfica, fit him right away, now worth hundreds of millions. Why don't we do something like that? I'm not saying we have to buy De Jong. I'm not saying we have to buy Enzo Fernandez. But we saved 20 million of Ronaldo's wages, and whilst loan cost us 5 million, we still have about 15 million in the bank. Generally, United will deny that. United are broke, but United could spend a good 20 million if they wanted to. Okay, we could get, and there are some options that can cover bases for 20 million as well. Obviously, the price goes up when it's United as well. Laymar's gone to Bayern, but Paulinho would be brilliant, but Fulham won't give him to us, and Gravenberch would be fantastic. And I think if Bayern would let Gravenberch go on loan, I think we'd get him. I'm sure Ten Hag would want him. But Bayern, fuck Bayern. They're greedy. They don't even play him, and they won't loan him. It's like us refusing to loan Donny van der Beek under Ollie. It's like, well, if you're not going to play him, bloody loan him. Like when we refused to let Jesse Lingard go on loan. If you're not going to play him, bloody loan him. And I think that depends on it. If we keep going this way, Eriksen's injury will be the least of our problems. Need to be brave and play some of the bench. True. Now, obviously, as you can see the news on my screen, depending on how serious Eriksen's injury is, would dictate whether United try and go into the loan market. I think for a big signing, it looks unlikely with only a couple of days to go. And basically, there are sources saying if the Eriksen injury is bad, United will go into the loan market. But the thing is, we've got thoughts. So you're saying you're going to wait 24 hours to hear some news on Eriksen's injury. So you only have 24 hours to go into the loan market and get Eriksen. Chelsea have just opened talks with Benfica to sign Enzo Fernandez. And we've got 48 hours to sign someone, but we're going to wait 24 hours to make that decision, which is going to leave us with 24 hours to sign someone because of absolute Glazer incompetence. Now, I really hope that Enzo Fernandez doesn't go to Chelsea, but Chelsea is signing Mudryk, João Felix, Enzo Fernandez, Badiashile. Chelsea and Liverpool could get the top 4, and Man United and Newcastle could drop out. It could be Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City in top 4. I really think it could be because we are not investing. We are literally the only team left in all 4 England competitions. We've got the least depth. We've had the least investment out of all the teams in the top 4 race. And that really scares me as well. Really, really scares me. I mean, Man United are in all 4 competitions. I'd love to win all 4 competitions. We're not going to win the Prem, obviously. But it does scare me that with the lack of depth we have, we literally potentially have 3 midfielders available when we've got Forest on Wednesday, Palace on Saturday, Leeds again on I think Leeds again the following week, and then Barcelona. We've got a game every 3 days, as well. And, you know, you see Weston McKennie, the American guy. I'm not saying that he's good enough for United or anything, but could he do a better job than McTominay? Most players could. You see him going on loan to Leeds. You see midfielders going on loan to other Premier League clubs. You see Arsenal, who've already spent 50 million, putting another 50 million on Moises Caicedo. You see Chelsea, who've spent 400 million, putting 100 million down on Enzo Fernandez. You know, you see all these good midfielders going, and you see the team that is crying out for a ball-carrying midfielder more than anyone, and they're doing nothing. And I know we're broke, and I'm not saying that I'm expecting us to go and sign De Jong or Enzo Fernandez or do a Chelsea, but I am saying push, try. Like, worst comes to worst, Tielemans, I'm sure Leicester would accept 20 mil. You know, there's some Bundesliga hidden gems out there. Expand the scouting network. Go to the South America and get some young midfielder in. Maybe this is when we needed James Garner. I tell you what, ask Everton for fucking James Garner back, because it's a mess. It's an absolute mess at the moment, and I just think we cannot go on. I do not want to see Scott McTominay having to start every week if Casemiro gets injured. Do you want to see Scott McTominay? And then I see people going, oh, it's fine, we've got Kobe Mainoo. Kobe Mainoo is not a DM. He's not a Casemiro type player. He's a brilliant young player that doesn't look out of place, that needs to be nurtured and generally put in the team slowly, and would probably play his best next to Casemiro, not in Casemiro's role. But you can't say, oh, it's fine, we've got 17-year-old Kobe Mainoo and 19-year-old Sedan Iqbal, and I think they're good players. But it's like saying, oh, we don't need a striker, we've got Elanga. You know, I think Garnacho and Paulista are incredibly talented players, but again, I don't think we should rely on them. I think Kobe Mainoo and Sedan Iqbal are incredibly talented players. I don't think we should rely on them. But it's to me, we need a midfielder, and we need to get one ASAP. Absolutely ASAP. Milinkovic-Savic on loan. I mean, that would be a good deal, but I doubt it. I think he's always linked to us. We could get Arawa or Gravenberch. I think they're all smart things, but United don't think smart. And Erik Ten Hag masterclass to prevent. He wanted Gakpo, so Klopp will buy him, and revenge for Klopp after taking Nunes. You know what? I'm actually going to show you a funny tweet. We're going off topic. We do need to get into the news and stuff, but my live streams, we just waffle a lot. I saw a funny tweet. I think I liked it. Here it is. Erik Ten Hag baiting low IQ manager like Klopp to sign Nunes and Gakpo. I'm not in danger. I'm the danger. That did make me laugh. To be fair, Gakpo has been dreadful, but I said this. I think Gakpo, people say I'm glad we dodged the bullet with Gakpo. Generally, I think Gakpo would have been a good signing for United because he's not a Klopp player. And I think you know, Nunes and Gakpo would have been better at United than Liverpool because they're more suited to Ten Hag. But you know what? They're threatened by it, and Liverpool, since they've lost Michael Edwards, have lost their brain in the transfer window. Now, I want to talk about new owners, new recruitment. I think we should go to Brighton, steal their scouts and recruitment staff. I think new owners should go and get Michael Edwards of Liverpool, because Liverpool's recruitment this season has been atrocious since Michael Edwards has left. Michael Edwards, this is the guy we want to replace Arnold and Murta with. Don't care that he worked at Liverpool. What he did at Liverpool was fantastic. You know, bringing in those deals like Robertson on the cheap and all that. Arthur Melo, he's a Liverpool player. Has he played? I don't think so. Crap. Gakpo's not worked out. Nunes just looks average. You know, Liverpool, it's nice to watch Liverpool, you know, spend money and not really work out. And, you know, good up Ten Hag for baiting Liverpool and signing his players. Liverpool celebrating getting Nunes and Gakpo over us, but you know what? It's not really working out for them. I don't think Nunes and Gakpo are bad players, to be fair, as well. This Brighton guy is just absolutely unreal, isn't he? Absolutely unreal. But I did think that was funny. But we'll go back into the news element of the video as well. We desperately need 2 midfielders, 100%. My ideal midfield, which wouldn't be realistic, would be like Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo signed, or even maybe someone like a James Maddison and an Enzo Fernandez. I want an Enzo Fernandez or De Jong type player in midfield, but realistically, I mean, that's not going to happen as well. Eriksen wearing protected boot when he left yesterday was not a good sign. Usually injury protection, but also means bad injury. And that's the worrying thing, that Eriksen injury is going to be really, really bad. And if Eriksen's injury is really, really bad, then we're in a bit of a situation. And we need to buy a midfielder. It's not great to push our young stars into the first team and in their development 100%. Buy and give us Gravenberch already, not even using him. Ten Hag will get him back in form. Exactly. Now, my first choice midfield loan would be Gravenberch, because it looks like it's going to be a loan unless we can sell Lindelof, sell Maguire and raise some money for them. But it said, although we've got offers for Lindelof and Maguire, Ten Hag's reluctant to sell them. My thought process is to get Gravenberch on loan, push Bayern Munich for him. Will United do that? Probably not, because they've got no brains. But let me know in the chat who you'd get, because we could get Tielemans on a cheap. We could maybe get Hedera of Leipzig on I say cheap, 20 million, but I think we could push to that, but we won't. Kessie could be available on loan of Barcelona. Matt O'Reilly, someone that we're scouting at the moment, young midfielder at Celtic. Don't think Celtic would charge us more than 12 million for something like that. Gravenberch on loan would be my ideal one. Let me know who you would get, any cheap midfielders. I mean, I don't watch, football in Ecuador, Argentina, or Uruguay or anything, but I'm sure there's probably a hidden gem in one of those leagues as well that, we should be looking at as well. And the sad thing is the owners would rather watch the team fall than do good, so start an engine. You're absolutely right. The owners know that they're leaving. The thing is, if Man United get top 4, we get more money from our sponsorships, we get more money from revenue, and we get the Champions League revenue. So if Man United get top 4, we'll be £100 million. I think we make £100 million more money, because you've got to include the Adidas. If we miss out on 2 top 4 seasons in a row, we'll do a cut in our sponsor. So if Man United get top 4, we will be like £100 million better off. So I'm thinking, well, why don't we spend 30 million to get top 4? Just 30 million. You can get someone good in midfield for 30 million, even if we're broke, because then we'll have 70 million more in the summer. If we don't spend, I don't think we get top 4. I don't think we get top 4 unless Ten Hag produces a miracle, which he can do, because Ten Hag is fucking God at the moment. But it's like, if we don't spend, we don't get top 4. And we don't get top 4, we lose 100 million in revenue. So for me, it makes sense to spend to get top 4, because actually, long term, you'll make more money. But the Glazers don't think long term, and that's why they're crap businessmen, because they don't think strategically. They don't think, we could get the Brighton recruitment staff in, recruit better players for cheaper money, recruit hidden gems, sell them on for more, and we could invest in January so we get more in the summer and have a long-term plan. The Glazers are bad businessmen. They're in debt. They've never been good businessmen. They brought United to try and get them out of debt. They're idiots, and they don't think strategically. And I wish they did. I wish they did. Now, their thought process is, we probably need to buy a midfielder on loan, but we want to see how bad Eriksen's injury is. So even though we've got 48 hours to get a midfielder on loan, they want to wait another 24 hours before making their decision, to literally give us 24 hours to bring someone in, which I just think is absolutely ridiculous as well. United in loans takes 5 weeks as well. Any other club could have brought... right now, if we were Chelsea, and let's say Eriksen got injured, if we were Chelsea, we'd have brought Enzo Fernandez right now. Like, boom, Eriksen's injured, Enzo Fernandez. But we're not Chelsea as well. I still can't believe Andy Carroll got nothing for that challenge on Eriksen. And you know what the worst part is? He tried to do the same to Casemiro. I generally think Klopp, I reckon this is it. Klopp got threatened. Klopp got threatened by United, and I think he's going to pay Andy Carroll to go injure our players. Because I swear Andy Carroll's intent, because he did the exact same to Casemiro, was to injure our players. Absolute knobhead. His pure intent was to injure our players. I do not care as well. And Carroll should get a further suspension, if not for jumping on Casemiro. He could have seriously injured him as well. Exactly. Joshua Kimmich is gettable. I fucking wish. I bloody wish. I mean, we shouldn't... James Garner has not been good, but Everton have been awful. I do think if James Garner had stayed at United, worked with Casemiro in a sustainable Ten Hag system, a manager that's good at adapting young players, he would have been better. He's gone to Everton. Everton's toxic. They haven't played him. He was fantastic at Forest. I know he won a game time, but he didn't get that at Everton. In my opinion, James Garner's gone and made the wrong move going to Everton. In my opinion, he has. I just spilt my water. I think sometimes I sit here and I go, we probably would have needed James Garner right now as well. Sedan doesn't even come close to getting minutes. He's not even an option. Yeah, I mean, Maino's playing of him. I like Sedan Iqbal. I do, but, I see fans going, oh, it's fine, we'll play Sedan Iqbal in Eriksen's role. Like, that is like saying, okay, Harry Kane's injured. We're going to go and play Elanga. Now, I think Sedan Iqbal's a baller, but we don't know if he's ready. And if he's not ready, it's like swapping Harry Kane for Elanga up top. It's like swapping Eriksen for Sedan Iqbal. Eriksen's a good player. Sedan Iqbal's a youngster that we don't know is ready. It's like, you can't sit there and think, okay, Maino and Iqbal will do a job for the rest of the season. They're fantastic young players, but they're not. You can't rely on someone that young. It's not good for their development. It's not good for us. It's just silly. Honestly, I don't get it. Wrexham are playing in the cup, aren't they? Hopefully they do well as well. And Juventus are interested in Tielemans. United need to get him. He's a good cheap option. I've been saying this, and I don't think Tielemans is an out-and-out Ten Hag player. And I think, if you didn't like Pogba, you won't like Tielemans in that sense. But I do think, Tielemans or no one, I take Tielemans. Is Tielemans an improvement on McTominay? Yes, at all. Yes, completely. The board are idiots. Smash a like if you think the Manchester United board are full of idiots, because they absolutely are as well. Respect Brighton, lost their gaffer and some key players and still cook on very well run club. They also lost their technical director or scout to Newcastle as well. Lost players, lost manager, and they're absolutely brilliant. Joshua Kimmich is gettable. I don't think Kimmich is gettable. I wish he was baller, but I don't think he's particularly gettable as well. And Glazers won't get anyone because they have a United fan, because they hate United fans probably. And he's a kid. You can't play him. That'll destroy him. Exactly. You can't put that pressure on him, kid. I mean, I'd like Enzo Fernandez, but mate, we're not paying 100 million for Enzo Fernandez as well. If Man United, I tell you this now, if all of a sudden I wake up tomorrow and Man United are going to put like 70 million to get Frankie de Jong or 100 million on Enzo Fernandez, I will applaud the Glazers for the first time in my life. I would applaud them. I'd be like, what the fuck? No, actually, I wouldn't applaud the Glazers. I'd do a live stream and I'd go, who's kidnapped the Glazers? Who's held the Glazers hostage? Who is forcing them to spend this money? Because this is out of character. I'd be absolutely shocked as well. They can even loan with an obligation to buy. New owners will have to pay out. Glazers can't be asked. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Glazers should think of it that way. We'll do a loan with an obligation to buy, and then we don't actually have to buy them. Like, easy. The other people can if they get them in, but you never know. Players like Rashford and Bruno need some time off. We are taking minimum 2 games to finish strong. Yeah, the thing is, Bruno, if Eriksen's injured, there's no cover for Bruno. There's not a single player at United that can play in that 10 role, potentially Sancho. If something happens to Eriksen or Donny, we probably would have to rest Bruno by playing Sancho out of position. And I think I'd like to see Sancho as a 10, but that's something we've never seen before. And that is a pure experiment as well. That is the thing. I mean, we've had offers for Alanga and Pellistri on loan, and Ten Hag is not letting them go because Ten Hag is just absolutely worried. And he played Pellistri as a 10, but I think the only thing we can do if Eriksen is injured, or if Donny is out the rest of the season, is potentially Sancho as a 10, because we've got no cover in that position. We've got McTominay to cover Casemiro, and we've got McTominay to cover Fred. We've got McTominay to cover Fred and Casemiro, and potentially Sancho out of position to cover Bruno. But we're saying underperforming McTominay, who's 26, 27, is not good enough. And Jadon Sancho out of position is our only cover potentially in midfield. It's awful. It's absolutely awful as well. Alice, would you go for Danny Olmo? I read a report on him that United are not going for him, to be honest. And I know we linked him as well. Chelsea have spent 200 million. I think Chelsea have already spent 300 million in the last year, because they've already got Nkunku coming in the summer as well. I mean, I'd break the bank for Kimmich, but that's not going to happen as well. But he's a fantastic player as well. Fantastic player. As Daniel says, please do smash the like button, people. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. Ghana was good in the Championship, but not the Premier League. I don't think, I think Ghana is not good enough for United, but I'm at a point where I'd take Ghana back at this rate. I think you guys are with me and we should all be getting Gravenberch. I mean, I think I agree on that as well. And Erik Ten Hag blocks sales because he knows money will go to the Glazers. I don't know. If I was Erik Ten Hag, I'd generally be like, I need a midfielder ASAP. I'm willing to sacrifice one of my defenders. This is why I was saying that, my thought process is Man United should sell a defender. We've got an offer for Lindelof. We should sell a defender to try and make money to get a midfielder in. I think that's what we should be doing. I think that's what we need to do as well. Hopefully Eriksen not injured. I still think Sancho could work as a 10. I do think Sancho could work as a 10, but it's a risk. It's a risk as well. I think it could work, but you don't know as well. And look, there's midfielders available as well. Alice, would you take Lucas Paqueta from West Ham if he gets relegated? I thought it was a really good signing for West Ham, and he's not worked out. Maybe he's a bit overrated, but I mean, there's players I'd like more than him, but I probably wouldn't be mad if United wanted to sign someone like Lucas Paqueta. I do think he's a good player, but then I think the worst thing about this window is Arsenal, Chelsea, and Newcastle, and Liverpool, who are all in the race for us for top 4, are all doing things and all spending money, whereas United just seem to be doing nothing. Now, I have to say, there are midfielders we can get on loan, but again, I can't tell you if United are going to go out there and sign a midfielder on loan. I can't tell you if Man United are going to actually go and do something, because Man United are Man United basically drive a car and they sit the car in neutral and they have the brake on. And, I can't tell you if Man United are ever going to turn the engine on that car and do anything, because unfortunately Man United have got no ambition. And that's the one thing I hate about Man United, is just the pure lack of ambition in this club. Just nothing. And this is why these new owners need to go. This is why these new owners need to come. This is why the Glazers need to go. Because the lack of ambition in the club is what is killing us. If you look at Arsenal, top of the league, and Arsenal kind of ran similar to us, but Arsenal, top of the league, and they're going, oh my God, this is our chance to win the Premier League. Man United are in a rebuild. Liverpool have completely flopped. Man City are a bit of a mess and adapting to Haaland. Arsenal have seen opportunity. Arsenal see opportunity. Arsenal go, we might never have a chance to win the league like this, but in January, we're 10 points clear opportunity. We could win the league. We might never get this opportunity again, or we might have to wait 10 years for this opportunity again. So Arsenal, owner, ambition, centre-back signed, Trossard signed, 55 million on Casado. They're trying to do that. Man United were top of the league 2 years ago, top of the league, yeah? Top of the league by end of January, top of the league. And we were like, can we get a defender in? Can we get a midfielder in? Can we even get Moises Caicedo for 5 million? Because we just... And we never won the league that season because Man City overly caught us. The Fred and midfield showed. The Lindelof Maguire thing showed. We weren't good enough. But that was ambition. Arsenal top of the league, spending, ambition. Man United top of the league, wouldn't even spend 5 million on Moises Caicedo that's now going to be going for over 60 million quid. And the lack of ambition at this club is killing us. Because Chelsea, Todd Boehly might be a madman, spending about 400 million. He's ambitious. They want to win. Arsenal, who aren't a serious club like United, are ambitious. Liverpool, although they, again, have got American owners, at least they have some level of ambition with financial stuff. They've won shit recently. We haven't. We've got an ambitious manager who's massively overachieving, that's doing brilliant, that has done enough to warrant some more signings in, can see everyone around us improving, has got nearly an impossible job on our hand, is massively overachieving. And then you've got a board that's like, you know what, we're selling the club, so it doesn't matter if we get top four or not. I don't really give a fuck if we win or lose. It doesn't bother me, and just no ambition. And you know what? They're like, I'm gonna throw Ten Hag out to dry. And the lack of ambition from the board is absolutely killing Manchester United. And those board need to go. Alice, do you think Jude will struggle like Jadon when moved to Premier League sides? Not if he goes to a well-run side. Now, the reason I think people like Sancho have struggled is because he joined United at the wrong time. He joined United at probably the worst time to join United. We had Ollie. We were very unstable, and then Ollie wasn't playing during the Sancho. Remember that. United looked very unstable. Ollie wasn't playing Sancho. Then Carrick comes in, Sancho plays a bit, it's all fine. Then Rangnick comes in, and Sancho starts playing a bit under Rangnick, plays really well, and then it just became a shit show under Rangnick in the sense of everyone turned to Rangnick. Man United was a mess. Like last season, players that have been really good this season, like Bruno, Shaw, Varane, and Rashford, were awful last season. I thought, actually, to be fair, Varane was okay, but they were crap for us last season. A lot of the players that were absolutely crap for us last season have been really good this season. And because we were in such a toxic place last season, such a negative dressing room vibe, it brought everyone down around us. I think with Sancho, if Sancho had gone to, I don't know, Manchester City last season, I think he would have been a much better signing. I think he would have been slotted in. I think he would have been given his time. I think he would have been a much better signing. It's like if Sancho had gone to Arsenal this season, compete with Martinelli on the left, he would have been a good signing. I think Sancho joined Man United side that at the time didn't have a midfield. He'd just been racially abused after the Euros. Not only had he been racially abused after the Euros, he goes to United. He's not given game time right away. So then when he does play, because he doesn't click for him right away, he gets the 007 memes on him and he gets written off. Sancho had a good pre-season. Sancho was incredibly good, had some incredibly good spells for us. He had like a 3-4 game period in the Rangnick era. He was balling up. Good pre-season. We see glimpses of what he can do. He's incredible at Dortmund. And he's gone to United, he's gone there. But I think, with Sancho, I think, yeah, he could have done better. But, I think a lot of it was maybe he just joined at the wrong time. I think if Sancho had one more year in the Bundesliga and maybe joined this season and he had all that confidence from doing well in the Bundesliga, would be better. And I do think with Sancho, we're going to see him improve and get better under Ten Hag. I really do. I think Jude Bellingham, if he joins Man United next season, I think we'll be in a good position. He'll be playing next to Casemiro. We'd have just had a good season under Ten Hag. Ten Hag will be implementing his system. I mean, this is the first year of the Ten Hag rebuild, so it's the hardest. I think next year, when Bellingham comes in, you've already got Casemiro established, Bruno established with you in midfield. You're in a sustainable system with a manager that wants you. Ollie brought Sancho because he was good. Ollie doesn't scout or know much about football. Ollie just thought, okay, that signing looks good, buy them for me. Ten Hag watches football. Ten Hag has a clear philosophy in the way he wants to play. Ollie doesn't. And I think, Ollie saw Sancho's stats and was like, yeah, buy him. But actually didn't know how to utilise or play Sancho. I think Ten Hag is capable of that. So I think with Jadon Sancho, I think that, yeah, he should have done better. But I think one of his struggles is the lack of sustainability at Manchester United. And I think if we sign Jude Bellingham, let's say we finish third this season and we end the season really well, and then we go sign that striker, we go sign Jude Bellingham, and we go sign, I don't know, that goalkeeper. I think Jude Bellingham would thrive because I think he would have Casemiro next to him already established. An established foundation at United. That's my opinion. I think obviously it's a big drop off from the Bundesliga in the sense of, Premier League's a lot harder, but I do think sustainability of club helps. I think I think the state United were in last year, even some of our best players didn't look like good players. Rashford last season, just look at Rashford last season compared to this season. I think Jadon Sancho was absolutely capable of the same, because 2 seasons ago, Rashford and Sancho were unbelievable. Last season, they were crap. If Rashford can get back to being unbelievable, why can't Sancho with confidence and time? And I think that's why Ten Hag is let him be out for so long and giving him so much time, because I think Ten Hag believes that as well. Steve said, what worries me is we could drop to Europa League again if we don't get any reinforcements. And you're absolutely right. I think that is the thing, and that's the worry. I think we've got top 4 in our hands, but if we don't get top 4, it's not Ten Hag's fault, it's the board. I think if we get top 4, Ten Hag's done a miracle as well. He's done an absolute miracle. Guys, please do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new, and share the video. Just to let you know, I go live pretty much every single evening on the channel. I do watch longs, I do match reviews, I do match reactions. I do morning short news update videos. I do live streams where I kind of discuss the news with you guys, give my opinion, let you guys give your opinion. We all kind of talk about it. And then I also do short videos where I'm like, this is the news story, boom, 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 as well, to update you guys. So do subscribe for that if it sounds like your thing. Sancho never had an incredible spell with us. He needs to step on to Ten Hag. I meant he was incredible at Dortmund, and he had a good spell in pre-season, a good spell under Rangnick. I never said he was incredible. I meant to say he was incredible at Dortmund, not Manchester United as well. And, look, and the true evaluation will be when Sancho plays under Ten Hag regularly. Now his future's up in the air. I think that's right. I think with Sancho, I think for me, I'll really analyse what he does at the end of this season, next season. I think, it might take a few games to get confidence in. It might take a goal. But I think if he gets a run of games under Ten Hag, scores a few goals, I think that will be evaluation of where he's going at United as well. And respect Ten Hag for being patient with Sancho. I think Ten Hag has dealt with the Sancho situation very, very well. Very, very well. But yeah, I mean, United are also looking at a goalkeeper as well. I wanted to talk about this actually. Ousmane Dembele is reportedly going to be out for 6 weeks, so he will be a big miss, because if you didn't know, Ousmane Dembele of the last year and a half has been really, really good for Barcelona. He had he was brilliant at Dortmund, had a good first season at Barca, then was injured for ages and kind of became shit, and we were like, oh, we don't want Ousmane Dembele. Barcelona wasted goods. But Ousmane Dembele has become a good player again, and he would have caused, he kind of gives me the Saka kind of vibes, where he would have caused Luke Shaw some problems, or Malacia some problems, in my opinion. A really, really good player, rate him really, really highly. So I think Ousmane Dembele being out is a big thing for United, because obviously we've got Lissandro Martinez out, but Ousmane Dembele being out for both legs is massive. I have to say, I do fancy Ten Hag to be up for the Barcelona game. I think Barca are in great form. Barca in some of their great form, but I do kind of expect Ten Hag to be up for the game. If we look at Manchester United, kind of what's going ahead and what's coming up, obviously we beat Reading. Stupid Andy Carroll. He tried to injure Casemiro as well. We've obviously got a lot of fixtures coming up, hence why we need midfield additions as well. We've got Forest on Wednesday, which should be able to rest some because we're leading 3-0 in aggregate. Palace on Saturday. And the reason I want to rest is I thought Palace was a Sunday game. It's a Saturday game. I think we really need to rest in this game so everyone is fit and firing for Palace. I think, Man U Leeds, again, that's the Wednesday after the Saturday. And then we've got Leeds again on the Sunday. We've got them scummed twice. And then after Leeds is Barcelona on the Thursday, Leicester on the Sunday, Barcelona on the Thursday. It will be Brentford on the Sunday. However, if, we go to the Carabao Cup final, which seems we will, it will be Newcastle or Southampton, and that will be a final. So not only will we have probably our most important game of the season in the second leg versus Barcelona. I say most important, probably biggest game in terms of popularity. We then have our most important game of the season, which would be a cup final. So we'll be going from second tie Europa League Barcelona to cup final within 3 days. Just shows that. And then we've got Liverpool. We jump from that to Liverpool. Barcelona second leg, cup final potentially, unless not on the Forest or something crazy. Liverpool. Now, if you look at Barcelona here, I don't want to look at them in the Europa League. Fucking Barcelona. Let me look at La Liga here. There we go. You look at Barcelona here, 47 points. Top of La Liga comfortably. Real Madrid obviously have a game in hand, but very top of La Liga, very good. They've lost one game all season. Barcelona have been absolutely fantastic this season, to be fair to them. Just beat Real Sociedad here, winning the games 5-0. If you look at Real Madrid, beat them 3-1. They won the Super Cup, Copa del Rey, whatever one it's called, final. You look at their lineup. They've been playing De Jong, finally, Busquets, Dembele, Pedri, Gavi, Lewandowski. Dembele out injured is massive for us, thank God. But they've been playing well, Barcelona. They've been looking good. Lewandowski, man, he's a good player. De Jong, he's going to run that midfield. Do you know what I mean? They've got some good players. You look at their bench, Ansu Fati, Depay, Kessie, Rafinha. You know, they've got some decent players. So I do think Barca will give us a hard game. But Ten Hag, for me, is a big game manager. So I'm actually weirdly confident. I say weirdly confident. I'm not I don't think we're going to walk all over Barcelona or beat them. But because Ten Hag's a big game manager, I do think he could potentially do something in that game. And I think this game here, we should need to rest players. I think we 100% need to rest players with the fixture list coming up. And obviously, this fixture list looks quite spread out. But as we continue in the FA Cup, there's probably between this Leicester and Liverpool game. Sorry, between this Brentford Liverpool game, which could be the cup final, there could also be the next tie of the FA Cup. You know, you got to add the other Europa League games in here. You got to add the other FA Cup games in here. You know, there's a lot going on for Manchester United coming up, so we do need to be careful as well. A lot of people talk about James Ward-Prowse. Personally, I don't think he's good enough for United. Don't want him. And Diego says over 801 people watching, so let's get Alice's channel to 57k subs. Big up, Diego. So please do smash that subscribe button if you're new. Go live every single evening. We'll be in for Mario Götze soon. I think he's actually got a bit better lately, but wouldn't shock me as well. And Dembele's been excellent this season, so yeah, it's good that he's out as well. People saying we don't need a goalkeeper. I don't think it's a priority, but I think Ten Hag wants a goalkeeper that's better with his feet and better in a 6-yard box. I think priority is striker followed by midfielder. And then I think that third priority is probably something defensive like a defender or goalkeeper as well. Only 169 likes and we've got 810 people watching. So I don't know what you guys are doing. Go ahead and smash that like button as well. And Barca will not be easy. Even their defence is rock solid now. Def never been fit on form for any chance. Yeah, I think Barca have really improved. I just have a feeling that Ten Hag's a big game manager. But I think Man U Barca, that's one of the biggest games in the Europa League history. And it's around a 32 game. It's massive. A Man U Barca final. I tell you this now, the only game in the Champions League that is bigger than this game is Liverpool Real Madrid. And Liverpool Real Madrid is only bigger than Man U Barca because it's in the Champions League. If you actually, and this isn't even me being a salty twat that we're not in the Champions League, but if you actually look at Champions League here, and then you look at fixtures, look at this. Which of these games are actually bigger than the Man U Barca? Okay, Bayern PSG technically because it's the Champions League, but if it wasn't a Champions League game, it wouldn't be bigger. Okay, Milan Tottenham, it's a decent game, but it's not bigger than Man U Barca. Obviously, Club Brugge Benfica is not bigger. Dortmund Chelsea is not bigger. Real Madrid Liverpool, only game that's a bigger game than Man U Barcelona happening. Frankfurt Napoli, no one cares. RB Leipzig Man City, 2 small clubs that are like 10 years old, and then Inter Porto. That's the only game. Like the Europa League this year is massive. If you look at the Europa League fixtures here, they're generally, obviously some of them are smaller because it's around 16, but we've got Barca, Roma, Ajax, Sporting, Sevilla, PSV, Juventus, Leverkusen, all in the Europa League, not to mention obviously Arsenal and some of the other clubs. I think Atletico Madrid in the Europa League, or did they come? I know Atleti came 4th in their group, didn't they? The Atleti came 4th in their group, but there's some big teams in Europa League. Is it maybe the one we sacrifice to focus on top 4 and Champions League and Premier League? I see a lot of people saying we should sacrifice the FA Cup and Europa and just get this trophy and get top 4, but I think Ten Hag is the type of guy that wants to win it all. I think Ten Hag is 100% the type of guy that just wants to win it all. He wants to win everything as well. A lot of people saying bring James Ward-Prowse in. I'm just not. I like James Ward-Prowse, but he's not my kind of player as well. Liverpool might get their chance at Europa League glory next season. I love it as well. And people saying sell McTominay and cash in and buy Tielemans and Lema. Lema's already gone to Bayern, which is annoying as well. And people saying Yeah, actually, someone just said Maguire stay, Elanga out. Elanga's got 10 offers, but Ten Hag is reluctant to let him go. There's 10 offers for Elanga. There's lots of offers for Victor Lindelof, but Ten Hag seems very reluctant to let them go. Seems very, very reluctant to let them go, which is annoying. DJ says, I never have found a Thursday nights. I like to give people a rest. I can't live without raising another Europa League trophy in my lifetime. I can live. I don't like. No one likes Thursday night football. No one likes Thursday night football, which is annoying. But you know what? A lot of people saying, do we just like let Barca win? Not let them win, but do we rest for Barca because we would have the Carabao Cup final up next? But the fixture list is mad. The fixture list is mad. And as you can see by my tweet, which is kind of the title of this video, what I think we should do is with Luke Shaw being able to play centre back, if worse comes to worse, if Eriksen's injury is bad, sell Lindelof or Maguire to fund a midfield signing ASAP. Defensive depth is looking fine. It's not the best, but like compared to midfield, it's looking fine. But that midfield is way too thin to play every game as well. But so that's one of the comments says, this ain't a video game, Alice. We can't pull that off in the space of 2 days. If we're Chelsea, we can do this. If we're Man City, we can do this. Do we have any faith in Murta and Arnold to get their shit together and do this? Probably not. Probably not in the slightest as well. Because I have no faith in Arnold. I have no faith in Murta. In fact, if I was to describe the Manchester United board, the word would start with a U and end in an S. Useless. That is how I describe the board. Useless, uneducated, and I tell you what, as Gaz said, our board would try and negotiate a deal and end up paying a tenner for a Fredo Frog. That is just how incompetent they are. And it's annoying because this is a club the size of Manchester United, and it's like they're being run by an intern that knows nothing. But this is meant to be Manchester United. The cluelessness on the board is ridiculously scary. I do want to get into some of the news as well. Di Marzio, who's a very good source in Italy, spoke about Lindelof leaving. Now, I don't think Lindelof will go. I think Ten Hag wants to keep him because Ten Hag has had offers from Maguire and Lindelof and he's reluctant to let them go. If Ten Hag is reluctant to let Anthony Elanga go due to lack of depth, I think he'd be reluctant to let Lindelof and Maguire go. Inter are looking at buying Lindelof. Now, I think maybe we just go, you know what, we sell one of Maguire and Lindelof, bish, bash, bosh, bring in a midfielder. That's the funds raised for a midfielder if we're broke. I don't think Lindelof will go to Inter because I think that Ten Hag doesn't want to sell anyone and take the risk, which is understandable, to be fair, because can you trust the board to get a good midfielder in, even if we sold Lindelof in time? Probably not. I think Ten Hag is reluctant to sell players, but I think this will happen in the summer. But as I've said, and as I've said in this video, if Man United need to please just go sign a midfielder ASAP, because we are starting to get in a bit of an injury crisis, and it's worrying. It's very, very worrying, and I can't be asked to deal with it. Board is shocking at United. I tell you what, I don't know if there's a board more shocking than us. The Barca board is pretty shocking, but at least they've got some ambition. You know, Barca spending 100 million on Coutinho and Griezmann. I mean, Barca are the only team that spent more money on crap than us. But at least Barca have done it with the ambition to be a good side. United are just awful. I love how Erik Ten Hag answered about losing last year in FA Cup. I don't look past, I look to the future. I just love Ten Hag's mentality as well. I love Ten Hag's clear mentality of, we don't dwell on the past, we look to the future. And Ten Hag said that he's desperate to win a trophy at Man United. He wants this Man United side to win a trophy because he knows what it can do. It knows what he can do for mentality and all of that as well. Do you think Man United can sign Enzo Fernandez? I think Chelsea are quite close to signing him in January, whether that go through or not. I think if Enzo Fernandez does not go to Chelsea in January, we can get him in the summer because I think we'll be saving our funds for the summer. And I think if we get top four and Chelsea don't, we've got a chance of getting him in the summer. But I think Enzo Fernandez is all dependent on if he goes to Chelsea or not. I think if he's available in the summer, we are definitely in the running to get him. It depends if we go for him or De Jong or Bellingham or who we prioritise. But I know that United will do something for a midfielder in the summer as well. And Europa is not going to be easy regardless. Lots of quality left. Good clubs have dropped on the CL. Yeah, this is probably the hardest year for Europa. Looking at the teams left in the Europa League, this is definitely one of the hardest years as well. And Elanga should go on loan at least. Pellistri has way more potential. Exactly. My thought process has always been, let's loan out Elanga. We've got 10 clubs interested in signing Elanga. And let's keep Pellistri because Pellistri's good. And I don't think that Elanga's a bad player, but I don't think he's ready. And I think it's very clear that Elanga's not ready. And I think you might as well let him get some experience, whereas Pellistri's more likely to be ready. And Man United have received more than 10 bigs for Elanga on loan, but Ten Hag is not giving the green light for that deal to happen, which is frustrating. Skriniar has already agreed PSG, but now that they're looking for Lindelof. Now, I just don't think we've got a ball competent enough to sell Lindelof and get a midfielder in. And apparently we've got 3 midfield injuries with McTominay, Eriksen and Donny. We're basically relying on 3 midfielders to play a game every 3 days at the moment as well, or dip into the under-21s. And your club like United shouldn't be doing that. We clearly need a midfielder and centre forward, but honestly can't afford to get rid of Lindelof, says Irish Red. Like, I don't want to get rid of Lindelof. I think he's a really good third choice centre back. But if I was to sacrifice a defender to bring in a midfielder, I think I would do it. As I think, realistically, are we going to need, unless something bad happens to Varane, and worst comes to worst, Luke Shaw can play centre back, are we going to be using Victor Lindelof lots and lots and lots, realistically? And that's kind of my thought process on it, Elanga is not going if we don't get another striker. Thing is, I think with Sancho coming back and Martial, hopefully, Martial, you can't rely on him. I feel like with Sancho coming back, the need for Elanga is a lot less. I don't know. It's a weird one with Elanga. I think he knows he's probably never going to play Elanga, but if something happens to Martial, well, Weghurst, he might need Elanga. I think it's a precaution from Ten Hag. I kind of don't need Elanga, but I can't. I'm not sure as well. Ahmad will be back in the summer. I mean, I can't wait for Ahmad. Ahmad Diallo is doing brilliantly. I can't wait for him. Ahmad Diallo. Sorry, Elanga needs 2 years alone. He's staggered. Yeah. I look at Ahmad Diallo on loan. We thought Ahmad Diallo had staggered at Rangers. We thought Ahmad Diallo were like, oh, has he hit his potential? Has he hit his ceiling? He's flourishing on loan. You know what? A lot of people like Man United players on loan because they've got a lot of potential. And sometimes players can come in the squad, they can hit the ground running like Rashford, Greenwood, even Garnacho can show his quality. But Elanga, he had some good moments at United. He did a job. But I even think from very early days, we're like, oh, this guy, I don't know if he's ready. I'm not sure. He needs that loan and stuff as well. And I would let him go on loan because I don't think we're going to use him a lot. But I guess a lot of it does depend on the Sancho situation as well. Please do smash that like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new. Alice, did you have a nice weekend? I've been ill really, but I'm productive because I've been ill as well. And Casado will go to Arsenal with Enzo Fernandez looking to go to Chelsea. I think Casado could go to Arsenal as well. People saying 3-3 is just the Wrexham score. What are the FA Cup? Let's have a look at the FA Cup scores because I forget FA. Not because I want to get the Liverpool losing score up again. Not that I want to get this up on the screen. Lol, shit club. But if we look at the FA Cup scores here, Wrexham 3-3, so could go to the second leg. That's annoying because they've gone down to 10 men. So because John Egan's just scored, that's really annoying for Wrexham. That's sad because they'll probably fancy themselves in the second leg. Stoke are through, Brighton a few. So the draw is on Monday. So who's through? So who'll be on the draw? So we could get Man City, Leicester, Leeds, either Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday or Fleetwood, either Blackburn or Birmingham, Southampton, either Ipswich or Burnley, Bristol, either Luton or Grimsby, either Sunderland or Fulham, Tottenham, Brighton, Stoke, either Wrexham or Sheffield, or either Derby or West Ham in the draw. But Man United, Man City and Tottenham are the only Big Six sides left in the FA Cup, and Man United are the only Big Six side left in the Carabao Cup. We're the only Big Six side and only English side left in all 4 competitions. So you've got to give that to Ten Hag. I think Man City will probably win the FA Cup, but the FA Cup is really up for grabs as well. So this is when Ten Hag gets top 4 FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Europa League. You go, well, to be fair, could he have much of a better season? This is when Man United get the freaking triple. That'd be mad. Not that I think we will. I call it the triple because I feel like it'd be unfair to call it the treble if it didn't include the Champions League or the Europa League. So I've probably made up a word, but we go with it as well. Our future looks bright with Garnacho, Pelistri and Diallo, exactly. And when I watch Elanga, no disrespect to Elanga, but for me, he doesn't look on the same level as those guys. Now, I want to do one last thing in this live stream, and I want to talk about what I would do versus Forest. And the reason I want to talk about this is because we've got Palace on the Saturday, so I think we need to we need to rest a few players for Palace on the Saturday. I would still play the same fullbacks because I don't know what the situation is with Delo and Shaw. I would probably play. I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably give Maguire and Lindelof another go in, and just make sure Varane and Licha are really fit for that the Palace game. I would probably play Tom and Fred and give Casemiro. Actually, does Casemiro need a rest, really? I mean, he did have a rest versus Arsenal. We have to play Bruno because we've got no one else. I'd probably play Wout. I'd probably rest Rashford. I'd probably play Pellistri and Garnacho because, look, we're 3-0 up. Like, I just think, we're 3-0 up. I thought Ten Hag might go stronger and then bring on these players at half time. But I think this team's not going to lose 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. So I would probably do something like that going into the Forest game. I'm not sure if Shaw's fit. I mean, I'd like Sancho. I think for me, Sancho's very close to return. I'd look to bring Sancho off the bench. But yeah. Some people saying they personally don't see the Pellistri hype. I think there's a good player in there. I don't know if it'll ever be United level. But yeah, I mean, people say no Maguire, no McTominay. I'm resting. The reason I'm playing Maguire and McTominay is because we've got like very difficult games coming up after. That's the reason I'm saying it. Is because we've got like super hard games coming up, like Palace and those games coming after that. I would rather play McTominay and Maguire now, so then Licha, Varane, and Casemiro are 10 times more pumping and raring to go beat Palace and go do the Leeds, the stupid Leeds, go do some dirty to Leeds. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying as well. We hear box to box midfielder desperately. Exactly. The title of this video is "We're in an injury crisis, so Man United sell a defender and bring in a midfielder." My thought process is this: we should sell a defender to bring in a midfielder. That's what I've been saying all video. I've been saying just sell a defender because ideally get a midfielder and don't sell anyone. But if we do not have the funds for a midfielder, sacrifice a defender. Can you do it in 48 hours? I don't know. It'd be crazy for United to do it. But we've been scouting Matt O'Reilly of Celtic. Can we try Gravenberch on loan? Can we try Kessie on loan? Can we do something for Tielemans? And if we don't have the money, just give it into Lindelof, and then we've got the money. Just go and do something crazy last minute in January. That's what I've been saying as well. But anyway, people, please do smash that like button. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. Remember, I go live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more. So make sure you're subscribed, smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. I will be live tomorrow night. There'll be a video tomorrow morning, and I'll be live tomorrow night about 6 p.m. And then Tuesday, there'll be 2 videos. Then Wednesday, there'll be a watch long. Then Thursday, I will be live in a video. And Friday, I'll be live in a video. And Saturday's a watch long. So lots to come on the channel. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bish.